Hi, everyone. Welcome to our new series of talks organized by the Brazilian Society of Microelectronics that we are calling SBMicro Hub. Okay, it is hub because the SBMicro want to be a hub or a bridge between people and companies consider the microelectronic ecosystem in Brazil and in the world. Okay, but firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Protásio, and I am a professor of the Federal University of Paraíba, Brazil, and I am Director of Innovation and New Opportunity of Brazilian Society of Microelectronics. Okay, so today we are going to present you one of the top EDA software company in the world, the Silvaco. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about Silvaco. Silvaco is headquartered in Santa Clara, California, and the Silvaco has offices in North America and Europe and in Asia. Okay, one interesting thing is that Silvaco has a design and development center in Porto Alegre, Rio Grande do Sul. So it is also important to say that Silvaco is one of the SBMicro's sponsors. And it is an honor to us to have our sponsors to take part in this series of talks, okay, the SBMicro Hub, okay. So today we are going to have Silvaco, and the next live is we are going to have the also sponsors, okay. And we will please see our social media to know the date and the sponsor in the next SBMicro Hub, okay? Well, to explain better the presence of Silvaco in the world and in Brazil, today we are going to have two speakers, okay? The first one is Dr. Babak Taheri, who is the CEO and the CTO of Silvaco, and he is going to talk about the challenges and the opportunities for semiconductor in a global perspective. Our second speaker will be Dr. Izaias Silva, that is the Strategic Sales Director of Silvaco, and he is responsible for Silvaco Sales and Market in Brazil. Okay, here's going to talk about the Silvaco strategies and the opportunities in Brazil. Okay, so we will have these two speakers today, and at the end we have a question and answer session. Please leave your message, comments, okay, in the session comment below that we'll give the opportunity to Dr. Babak and Dr. Izaias to answer the question, okay? So let's go directly to the point, okay? I will pass the floor to Dr. Babak Taheri. Dr. Babak Taheri, thank you very much to accept our invitation to be here in this first event that we are calling SBMicro Hub, okay? And the floor is yours. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Protásio, and thank you for the great introduction. It's an honor to be participating in the SBMicro Hub and also be a sponsor. Thank you so much. So we will start our presentation for you and go from there. Today, I'll talk about challenges and opportunities in semiconductor business. As you know, Silvaco has been around for over 36 years. and we have proven technology, and we always are trying to catch up and be also ahead of market that is growing. Currently, we have 500 plus customers worldwide, 270 plus employees, and I think right now is around 279. We sponsor 200 plus universities, and we have deep industry and academic collaborations. Our leading solutions work in automotive, 5G, IoT, power devices, and as you may know, we are number one in the TCAD market, including display and what we call fab design of experiment. So having said that, Silvaco has a spectrum of solutions. We go from simulations, from technology CAD, anything from one device or process, all the way up to design of IPs that are tens of millions of devices. We not only are able to simulate process steps for any semiconductors, plus we can also do device simulations for new devices or existing devices that are being tweaked for performance. And we can feed that information all the way to our analog custom design solution that you can go at transistor level, capture a schematic, do your layout, extract, simulate, and generate a final layout for tape out. And we can do this at IP level, at very complex IP levels. So that's our spectrum of solutions that we provide to the industry. Our proven technology portfolio consists of leading TCAD solution, both 2D and 3D, for process, device, and atomistic. We have tools that can actually do your nanotechnology simulations and devices at that level, at atomistic level. We do power, advanced CMOS, display, and optoelectronics. And that's one of the uniqueness about us. We have solutions for advanced design of experiments, especially for equipment, if you are into that space. We are a one-stop shop for analog custom design. We have complete full solution that we feed forward or backward our TCAD to analog custom solutions in order to do analysis and do what we call design technology co-optimization. We also have design IP and a management tool that basically is enterprise level IP management tool that enables you to address all the needs of IP. In addition to all these three business units that we have, we provide services in terms of our tools. Initially, some universities or customers would like to understand our tools. We provide services implementing what they want first, and then we go to the next level. Also, Silvaco has been very good at acquiring technologies since 2015. And the top three new ones that I'm going to describe, and it's already shown there. We acquired a coupling wave solution in 2020, which extends our capability to substrate and RF modeling. We are one of the only companies in the world that can do substrate noise modeling and substrate modeling in order to see the impact for RF and other effects that substrate brings into picture. We also purchased PolyTDA in 2021, just this year, that enables us to actually have world-class design rule checking. We have a new tool that we are going to introduce by end of this month that takes us to the next level of verification. And then last but not least, we added also last year a compiler team from France. We acquired them, including their capabilities and design compiler from Dolphin Semi, which enables us to be able to address all the IP needs of our customers. If you look at Silvaco, we work with world-class companies. On the left side, we are showing the top 15 semiconductor companies by revenue. We are showing you which tools in terms of TCAD, EDA, or IP we are offering those companies, and they're all over the world. If you look at the top 15, we are in them. And on the right-hand side, we are showing you the top 15 display companies that are also by revenue and the location geographically. And we are showing you also which of our tools are in those display markets. We are actually one of the largest provider of tools for display technologies. And we are expanding our markets into automotive, 5G, memory security, and IoT. So given that, I think we are in a good position to help everyone that works with us and our customers. As earlier you saw, our headquarters is in Santa Clara. We have R&D centers that are in solid green. We also have R&D centers and as well as sales offices across the world. And I'm proud to say that we've had one of the greatest teams that has joined us, and our team is in Porto Alegre in Brazil, and I visited there already, and we are looking forward to expanding our collaboration and cooperation in Brazil, and that's part of why we are working with SBMicro Hub and be able to help them expand in the future. So given that, we also are present in Europe, US, and Asia. If you look at semiconductor market at a glance, the market revenue you see in 2021 is about $522 billion, about 12.5% growth year on year. And actually, we believe that growth will continue to the next year and future. So if we go to the next one, we can actually see how this market and how this processes. So semiconductor markets performing strongly, as I have mentioned earlier. 5G, which includes a lot of RF and analog work in it, we play a good role on it. PC servers and tablets, high performance computing, medical devices, IoT and RF, automotive, medical, as well as power devices. And these are the markets that are expanding, and Silvaco plays a good role in each of them. And if you look at the semiconductor market at a glance, basically the foundries are now at full capacity with primary impact on 28 nanometer and larger processes. And as you know, there's a shortage of semiconductors nowadays because the demand is very high. And also with the advent of COVID, there was a reduction in production that's coming back up due to being able to keep distances and get staff in foundries. Also, if you look at companies like Intel, Samsung, TSMC, and other ones, they've committed over $130 billion in production expansion. So you hear TSMC, Samsung, and Intel are building new fabs and spending billions of dollars on each of these fabs. So the market looks very promising, and it's expanding as the semis are growing with it. Although there was a pandemic disruption, we have recovered from that. The COVID impact on the market, if you look at it, has shown the main impact has been the supply chain. But moving forward, companies are actually improving on how to improve supply chain, add capacity, as well as being able to store and keep inventories in order to be able to address the needs. In addition to fab capacity, also, as you know, making wafers is one part of the solution, but also the back end, which has to do with dicing, packaging, and testing. These are being also expanded. As you have seen, there are many companies that are becoming big players in semis, such as Apple, Google, and other companies that are expanding, and they have their own new design teams, and they leverage the design houses. That right now we consider those to be at full capacity, which is great news for our industry. If you look at the COVID impact on semiconductor markets, we are showing you two color circles. One is green, which is devices for which COVID-19 will have little or no impact, and the names are out there and you can see them. And the orange ones are the devices that are negatively impacted by COVID, and that's due to the fact that some of these fabs and foundries and automotive have had their own unique requirements that cause this impact to happen. So The other thing that all of us have been doing, actually Silvaco since March of last year, the team has been working remotely from work to be safe, and we believe that is here to stay. We don't expect full-time and full return back to the work. Market experience in the last 18 months indicates that actually, based on this work from home, our productivity has increased by 25%. Employers save about $11,000 per year for every person who works remotely from work, or half-time or full-time. Employees save $4,000 a year based on their commute and the other savings that they do in terms of gasoline and other expenses that they incur driving to work. And there are surveys that are continuously going on that show currently 80% of employees still want to work from home at least part-time. This has been the case for the last 18 months. Moving forward, we think 30% of the workforce will be still work remotely. There will be a hybrid version of work from home and remote that people would partially work from home, sometimes go to work based on the meetings and based on their function. And as the need for work from home increases, as you know, digital transformation is actually exploding by providing us with new devices, better connectivity, better video, and other capabilities for communications. And the reason I'm staying optimistic is because, virtual is here to stay. Everything that we do will be conducted partially by virtual, be it healthcare, be it real estate, be it collaborations throughout the team. In addition to virtual reality that we are in, AI and ML is growing. We are able to not only utilize AI and ML to get us to what we are searching for faster, but also in terms of our own EDA tools, Silvaco utilizes AI and ML in our design tools to optimize, parameterize, and improve the user interface and provide faster and speed to design results and markets. And as you know, video recognition and voice recognition, they're all now a thing of past. It's part of our life fabric. 5G is the next big thing that, as you know, have been rolled out recently in the past year or so in the U.S. Automotive market is growing. Electrification of automotive. There are automotives and cars that have more than 1,000 processors and sensors in order to process the information for autonomy. Connectivity of vehicles to anything is a big project that's still ongoing. And the expansions of also that we see in industrial markets is there to stay, especially with connectivity, and 5G enables many of these capabilities. So the other question that I like to answer is, why are we excited about Brazil, right? We have tens of employees and co-workers that actually graduated from some of the top Brazilian universities, and overall we've seen Brazil is actually a world-class in terms of training their engineers. So the talent for us to grow and get young and excited and new brains into our company, the expansion of that is very exciting to us. And we have quite a few of the team members, not only in Brazil, but some are also in our headquarters, that we have them come and help us to solve very difficult problems. So we know there's an extensive amount of talent there. And also we have started increasing our collaborations with R&D centers and IC design houses. And there are several companies that we've started working with that we're very excited about. So our presence in Brazil, one thing I wanted to make sure that we are investing in Brazil. We are providing R&D to assist and support semiconductor development, which is one of the key technologies for future in the world. And as a result of that, we've had technical support and technical team that does R&D for us locally in Porto Alegre. but also as you've seen, we've added our local sales as well in order to maintain and support the customers, universities, and our engagements with in Brazil overall. So we are very excited about this, and this is new to us in terms of having sales office in Brazil. So to summarize and not take too much of your time, semiconductor market is growing. We are very excited about it. There is no slowing down of semiconductor market, and I think technology in general, as we go through these changes in our lives, you see that it's dominating quite a few things that we didn't expect them to dominate. And of course, COVID still remains challenged. We have close, open, depending on the version of the COVID virus that we get. But these challenges are around. Vaccination is coming around, and hopefully most of the world will be vaccinated by end of this year or end of next year, so that we can have a norm, a different norm, of course, but a norm that people can freely going about doing our work. And we don't see any slowdown, especially in EDA. We think us and also our partners, as well as our competitors, are growing at double-digit growth, and we want to increase awareness of Silvaco in Brazil, so we can better handle how we can support the country, how we can expand this technology in the country, and have much better collaborations there. So what I would like to do is basically hand back the floor to Protásio and have him introduce Izaias. I wanted to wish everyone a healthy and happy life, and thank you very much for your time.
Whoa, thank you very much, Dr. Babak Taheri, for your presentation. And the COVID pandemic is challenging for the society, all society, and for the marketing, as we know, for the semiconductor industry, as you pointed out. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right now, I'd like to remember our attendees to give comment and the question to Dr. Babak, that in the end of this live, we will interact with him, okay? So let's switch to the next speaker, Dr. Izaias Silva, that is the Strategic Sales Director of Silvaco, and is responsible for Silvaco Sales and Marketing in Brazil. Okay, so Dr. Isaiah Silva, it is really a pleasure to have you here, and you joining us in this meeting. Okay, please take the floor.
Okay, thank you, Protásio. Thank you, Babak, for this opportunity. And it's very good. I'm very glad to be here after Babak's presentation about Silvaco worldwide. My goal is to talk about Silvaco awareness in Brazil and how we, Silvaco, see our partnership with local universities, industries, and government agencies. So first of all, just to tell you that we believe that Brazilian economy is recovering. We see that our GDP quarter to quarter is getting better. We see that our GDP forecast for this year, the forecast went from 2.9 to 4.9 growth. We know these things can change, but it's a good sign that it's going well. We also see that the industry GDP, the one that really impact us, the forecast went from 4.3 to 6.9. So it means that the industry is confident that we will grow. And I think this is a good message for us, because sometimes we see all the situations, all people getting sick around us, but we need to remember that as the vaccine progresses and as the people start to believe in changes, that the country will go better and better. The public death is going down, at least the forecast for this year, as a percentage of the GDP, and the exporting is going up. So I think we have the right scenario in the right moment to make a difference, not only in Brazil, but also in South America. As Babak said, we are in São Paulo area, and we are in Porto Alegre. So São Paulo is pretty much sales and marketing office, myself, working here and interacting with all the potential customers and partners. And we have a team of 9 employees working in Porto Alegre. So in Porto Alegre, we have most of our team, and the history there starts in 2018 after we acquired a company called Nangate. But actually before that, Silvaco has been in Brazil for several years because several universities already licensed some of our technology. The TCAD solution in Brazil is well known. So we've been in Brazil, I'd say, for 25 years with products, but with a local presence. It started in 2018 after Silvaco acquired Nangate. And after 3 years, we are not only pleased with the local team, but looking for opportunities to augment Silvaco presence in Brazil. Between 2018 and 2020, Silvaco transferred several Brazilian professionals to US. These people are in executive position, like Babak said. We have, just to mention some of them, we have Jody, that currently is the director of simulation at Silvaco. We have Guilherme Schillinger and Osvaldo Martinello, both are directors of foundation IP area in US. So I think it's very important, and it's a motive of pride for us as Brazilians that we are helping also Silvaco in US to grow their product portfolio. And in Brazil, the Porto Alegre team is led by Bernardo Culau, that stays in Porto Alegre with his team. There's 9 engineers working at Silvaco R&D Center. And what does the team in Brazil do? So the team in Brazil is doing R&D activities to develop 3 of our tools: Cello, Viola, and Liberty Analyzer. So Cello is used for standard cell creation and optimization. In practical terms, the customer can use Cello to speed up the redesign of a pre-existing project involving standard cell libraries, and to create standard cell quickly to migrate a project from one technology to another. Viola is using when the customer wants to characterize digital cell libraries, and Liberty analyzes, it displays, analyze, and compare valid Liberty files for timing. So I think it's very important that part of Silvaco portfolio is actually developed in Brazil by Brazilian engineers with local support. So that is very good to know, and also to understand that regarding the service office, we also are doing services in Brazil. So some companies, when they would like to do some services, instead of licensing one particular tool, they can come to us and we offer these services to them. So I think this is a very good team, and we are very happy to have this team working with us in Porto Alegre. During phase 2, and talking more about our strategic partnership, we see our strategic partnership working in 3 areas: work with the government, work with the industry, and working with the academy. We see that it's very important in Brazil to have an initiative touching these 3 bases here. So during the phase 2, we had one Silvaco employee, Mr. Armin Khalili. He saw the potential of Silvaco in Brazil. He's Iranian, but we say that he has a Brazilian jeitinho, and he was very passionate to our country, and he started to advocate that we should grow the opportunities together with our CEO. And finally, Silvaco decided to grow the activity of a salesperson that I'm me working here. So I think it's a very, very good. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And we are continuing this work in Brazil. And now I'm going to talk a little bit how we are addressing these 3 areas of the partnership. The first one in industry. So we see Brazil as a very interesting country for opportunities. We see for the IoT area in Brazil. We have the electronic medical device is an area that's growing a lot. Few people know that Brazil export electronic medical device for 180 countries. So we have a very good industry based in Brazil for this area. The 5G is not completely approved yet, but as it goes, it might be a very interesting market to cooperate. We have Brazil is one of the major countries in agribusiness. So we have the precision agriculture market that also needs some attention, and we believe that we can do difference here working with some partners. Memory, as you know, have a lot of companies doing packaging in Brazil. The automotive market in Brazil is also growing. So we have other areas, but I would like to highlight the 6 areas that we are looking for partnerships and looking for companies to grow together our presence in Brazil. And how we grow this? We grow license our solutions, like Babak said, for TCAD, we help companies in the process, device, and model, the simulation process and device. We help companies with the flow of IC design tools, analog tools. Here we have several design and capture tools, Gateway Expert. So I'm not going to talk about the tools, just give you a highlight of what we have. So if your company or if you are part of a group that is interested in growing your expertise in this area, Silvaco is here to help you. We really would like to make a difference to make sure that the companies in Brazil that are designing solutions do it better, faster, low cost, and has a more impact in the market. Like I told you, we also have a team doing library characterization optimization in Brazil with Cello, Viola, and Liberty Analyzer. And we also have a very interesting area that's IP licensing. So several companies, they want to develop a solution, but they don't have the time or the resources to start from scratch. So we as Silvaco understand the power of working with IP solutions so the company can go and have a better time to market. And we have IPs for several areas, from embedded processors, security cores, analog cores, automotive controllers. So we believe that we are well equipped to help any company in Brazil that wants to create a solution to the market, and we are ready to help you succeed. Talking a little bit about what we are doing with the government, we see that there are several initiatives from the government, and we'd like to work with them. We've been talking to all these agencies and trying to understand how can we cooperate. So most of the time, we have people in these areas, they are eager to cooperate, but they don't know exactly how to do the strategy. So we as Silvaco, we'd like to offer our help to make sure that all the strategies the government is doing is actually succeed, and we'd like to do our better to help the government officials in order to make sure that the policies that we go and help the universities and companies, they really make a difference in this new globalized area. And talk about the academy, we understand that most of the engineers that we have in Brazil are really important that they get in contact with the best in-class solutions that we have in the market. So when they go to the companies to start designing the ICs, they use what is there for them to do a good job. And we have a lot of universities, a lot of R&D centers that we are talking in Brazil, and we believe that we can make a difference, not only licensing, but also being a partner to create new solutions to the market. And I put here in a very graphic way 5 ways that we call the Pentagon that we believe we can work in Brazil. So we can work in Brazil in the academic licensing program. This program is a program that helps the universities to license our tools in a very low cost solutions and conditions. And to go is to help the Brazilian microelectronic research community in growing these activities. And this is a two-way door, meaning that we can not only license, but there are some universities in Brazil that are doing very interesting work, and we would like to team up with them and maybe to upgrade our own tools, depending on how it goes. The other part is the ADA tools and IP licensing program. By the same token, is to help the local design houses and companies regarding IC designs and portfolios. So we have a very interesting program that we are already talking and engaging with some of Brazilian design houses. We have already our R&D center, in Brazil. Like we said, we'd like to enlarge this activity as business grows. Of course, we'd like to have more and more people working for Silvaco and strengthen our position in the country. And there is this EDA residence program is a well-known program. Residence program is well-known in Brazil, but it's to some companies, they would like to train some people to use them as IC engineers. So sometimes we team up with a university or R&D center to train some people to be absorbed by the companies. So this is a potential program that we would like to launch with some particular companies. And finally, look for opportunities in the industry to develop some system in a package that we can help the local community to succeed. And what do we expect from Brazil and from this partnership? First of all, is to strengthen the IC design value chain. So we understand that the more we invest in the universities, the more we're going to have stronger design houses, the better electronics industry products, and the market sectors will benefit from that. The second point is to add value to university and R&D centers at IC design framework. We believe that Silvaco has some unique tools and unique solutions that can help the local companies to succeed here as we support them. The third area is to see IC design opportunities for various market sectors. Sometimes we have very good companies in the market, but they simply don't know the potential that they have at their disposal with design houses, even with IPs. And sometimes, once we get their attention, they can develop good products and be much more competitive in the market. The other part is to also help IC design services and startup launching. There are several startup companies that start looking for opportunities and new products, and we also would like to help these companies to succeed and to increase the market experience for people, because we believe that if we have more people knowing our tools and know our goals, once we decide to expand in Brazil, we're going to have a much more stable and strong platform to increase our participation in Brazil. So this is what I'd like to say. This is my message for SBMicro, and I really would like to cooperate with the companies and universities here to make sure that we can grow and do something different and better in Brazil. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Izaias, for your presentation. Really, I'm here very excited about the investment of Silvaco here in Brazil and around the world, and to know about the strategies and the many things that Silvaco is doing around the world. Okay, well, right now let's switch to the question and answer session. Okay, and we received a couple of questions, but I'm very curious about Silvaco. I know Silvaco tools, but what can you tell us about Silvaco creation?
Yeah, so I will take that question. So Silvaco was founded over 36 years ago by Dr. Ivan Pesek. And unfortunately, about 10 years ago, he passed away. And his son and his wife have taken over the company, and they've done a great job of expanding Silvaco. But Silvaco, when it started, we started as a TCAD company, then we added spice simulation. And as you have seen throughout what Izaias brought up and we talked about, we now have full suites of solutions as well as IP.
Okay, and I saw the Silvaco model. It's from atoms to system. Okay, what that means?
Yeah, that's our tagline, as you would call it in marketing world. Atoms to systems means that we have tools that enable the designers and researchers to do simulations at atomic level. So if you are doing green functions or trying to look at nanowires, and any kind of small dimension geometry devices, we have a tool called Victory Atomistic that enables you to simulate and see interaction of atoms in these devices. And then we say from atoms, because we can do simulations from atoms in terms of the devices, then we can go to simulations at smaller systems and IP system level. We have all the tools to be able to go up and down of the system all the way to single devices.
Great, great. Well, I have a question from Professor Jacobus, and he asked, do you plan to expand the IP design activities in Brazil? Will the team in Brazil grow?
Oh, absolutely. And if you knew our history, our team has doubled the size in Brazil in the last 2 years. And we plan to expand our IP capability in Brazil extensively. And not only standard cells, but other aspects of IP. Absolutely. And if you have ideas and you'd like to collaborate, we would love to hear about it.
Wow, great. And about the acquisition, I saw some acquisition. One acquisition that Silvaco did was Nangate. And could you explain the acquisitions that Silvaco did and the importance of it to Silvaco?
Oh, absolutely. So Silvaco did not have any standard cell capabilities before acquisition of Nangate. And we were lucky that when we acquired Nangate, the initial Brazilian team that we have came through that acquisition. What we are capable of doing with the Nangate, and we've expanded the tool extensively since their acquisition was almost about 3 years ago. We expanded the capability and the team has grown. We are not only able to provide custom standard cell solutions, but also we have 2 tools that are called Cello and Viola, as Izaias mentioned. And these 2 tools, and actually our Brazilian team is experts on this and have developed these tools and are growing it. These tools are able to characterize standard cells automatically, which is a big daunting task if you have a large standard cell library, and this automates that process. But also we are able to not only create layouts, but also be able to scale from one process technology node to another technology node, which we call it a compaction technology that Silvaco has through Nangate acquisition. So this is a capability that standard cells is something that Silvaco did not have, and we saw it to be beneficial for us to be able to provide the capability to the industry, and that's why we have that.
Okay. So we have other question from Professor Altamiro Suzy. Nice talker. and he thanks a lot. So his question is, how is the IP business being managed in order to have interoperability, second source, test and testability, and so on?
Yes, that's a very good question. So most of the IP standard cell-wise that we do have standardized characterizations, standard flow that is industrially acceptable. Our competitors use the same thing. They do characterization, verification, validation through the same industry standards that we do. If there's coverage for testability as well. So by adopting standard tools and standard know-how in the industry, we are able to be compatible. So second sourcing is a good thing to have. However, you find out that our capabilities is such that you can use other standard cells in our place, but if we optimize a standard cell, for example, for a customer, we tend to improve its power consumption by 20%. And its size by 20 to 30%, depending on the geometry. So having a second source to us sometimes is difficult if you have optimized cells, because we don't think that everybody else in the market can do the optimizations that Silvaco can provide.
Okay. Dr. Izaias, and you mentioned that there is a Silvaco team in Brazil, in Porto Alegre, and there will be a plan to expand the presence in Silvaco in Brazil?
Well, for sure, we will continue to work with the team from Porto Alegre. This team will grow as the area decides to grow. They have their own business unit to progress. But if there is opportunity for Silvaco in Brazil to grow in another areas, it all depends on how the business goes. So as you start to have more and more participation in the business, we will definitely grow. And one thing that I see at Silvaco is Silvaco doesn't want only to sell our license. Of course, this is what we're going to do, but we will also like to understand better what the company is doing. And then when we help the company becomes better and faster and makes more money. So there is a partnership that we form with this company. That's what we would like to do. I don't know if Babak wants to comment on that too.
No, absolutely. As I said earlier, we would love to expand in Brazil, and I mean it sincerely. We think there is good synergy. We are trying to look with, working with signing up new partners, and so far we have not turned down any business opportunities. And as they grow, we will expand the team. I think the limit is basically how we limit ourselves, not what there is. So we will not limit ourselves, and we will be very open to expanding our footprint in Brazil.
Great. We have another question here from Jorge Sabino, and he asked, what areas are you focused in IP design? Could you mention some IPs you already have?
Sure. That's a great question. So what we wanted to do for the past couple years is complete our IP solution for what we call foundation IP. The industry term for foundation IP means you have standard cell capability, you have memory compiler capability and memories, as well as I/O. So what we have done in the past 3 years, as you noticed, we've acquired NAND gate for standard cell capability. We've acquired Dolphin for memory compilers as well as memory instances. And I/O, in terms of I/O, we have actually hired a team of I/O designers that are capable of doing I/O. And as you know, every SoC, every system on the chip that you look at, 95% of them include I/O, or 100% of them include I/O. Otherwise, you cannot communicate with the chip unless it's RF, then it's wireless. That's why I say 90+%. then you need to have some kind of processing capability that you tend to synthesize. You need standard cells for that. And you need to have memory so that the microprocessor, microcontroller can communicate and store data. So that would complete quite a bit of the chip. But as we go on the path of IP, we are getting into more sophisticated IP like PHYs, physical layer interfaces that are much higher frequencies, and we are building a team to expand there as well. So,
Okay. And I know that here in Silvaco, the Porto Alegre teams has 9 engineers, okay, working research and development. But specifically, can you comment with more details the specific activity in this center?
yes, as I said, this center right now mainly is focusing on 2 tools that we have, Cello and Viola, which is our tools, software tools for automating characterization of standard cell. And Viola is for being able to port as well as generate layouts automatically for standard cell. And our guys are not only understand the standard cell layout and design, but they're at a very, I would call them world class in terms of being able to write software to automate this. So this is not a very simple function. They are not just an engineer. They're not only engineers, but they're also computer scientists to be able to write the software. So we are proud to have them, and that's their main focus area, and we'll expand on that as well. So.
Okay. So let's go. And as this event here is about to connect companies and our member, student, professor, researcher, scientist in Brazil or in the world, I'd like to know about the skill, the hard skill, soft skill. What skills, mainly soft skill, are more important to Silvaco? And what advice can you give to our students to that wish to work at Silvaco?
Yes. Actually, we always welcome summer students to join us. Our design centers and our R&D centers are told, and they have no limit in the number of people they can hire as summer students and hire to help and train. We provide training to them. And as much space as our office allows, we would love to get more. So if you know of universities that have candidates that would participate and get trained and also get paid in summertime as students, we would love to hire. And the type of skill set we look at, as I mentioned, we are looking for people with electronics background that can do design. Like, for example, if they can help us with IP design, like an IO design, that would be great. And then also we're looking for people who understand computer science and can write software for us, different algorithms. And then last but not least, also what we need to do as we expand in Brazil, and thanks to Isaiah's leadership, as we gain more customers in Brazil, we would want to support those customers. So practically a lot of demand that goes up, we would want to hire the skill set that has to do with what we call application engineering and product engineering. In other words, these guys will use our tools, become expert at it, so that if the customers need support and help, they can help in Brazil as well. So those are the 3 classes of education background and the sort of work that we can offer, and we always would love to train new college grads or the ones who are finishing. So,
okay, does Silvaco have some Brazilian employee working overseas?
Yeah, so we do, and actually we have we have 3 actually working in the headquarters, and we have others in Europe as well. But the management and they're actually managing the team in Brazil remotely as well as locally. and other areas of the world. So yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So we have a question here from Professor José Camargo Costa. He asked, could you talk a little bit more about your university program in Brazil?
Yeah, I think I can take this question. So we have several ways to cooperate with universities. The basic one is the university is interested in licensing our tools. So we have a special price that we can offer these tools, and the university can use it to train the students and to do R&D activities. But we are preparing a more advanced program where we have several universities trained in Brazil, so the university can not only use our tools, but they can also benefit and be a hub to training other universities, and also to work with these universities to create R&D projects. So that's number two. The number three is, if as we start to cooperate with the universities, we are going to know more about the R&D activities of the universities, and the universities will know more about Silvaco tools. So from this approximation, we might create projects where Silvaco can work with universities to increase and update our tools, like we already did in some cases with the universities in the South. So the door is completely open, and the heaven, like we say, is the limit. The sky is the limit as much as we can approach. It always starts with using tools and cooperating that could grow as far as possible. Okay.
Well, great. Well, we are going to our end, and I'd like to, I don't know, of course, you know, but we have here a conference, international conference that we call the Chip in the Fields, and every year the Chip in the conference, it is in a place, in a different place. Okay, of course, due to the COVID pandemic, it is online, and I know that Silvaco is one of that will support the conference. Well, what is your expectation about to be with us?
Well, Chip in the Fields is the most important conference in IC design in Brazil. I would say in Latin America. We have other 5 or 6 conferences that coincides and happens at the same moment, the same time in cooperation. So that's the place we need to be. We need to be there. We need to create as much as possible network connections with the group. And unfortunately, we learned about Chip in the Fields not long ago. So we'd like to even be cooperating more, sending more papers, submitting papers, because we'd like not only to participate and watch, but like also to present some of the points. But I'm sure that there will be other opportunities. But we are totally involved on that, and I would like to make sure that anybody from the universities or company that are watching us, please feel free. Maybe, Protásio, we can send my contacts to the people in the audience, and people can contact me. I'll be more than happy to see how to cooperate with them.
Okay. And Silvaco will have a own event? You promote our own event?
Yes. So last year, thanks to Armin, he pioneered in having our own event in Brazil I think it was in August or September, if I'm not mistaken. And this year we repeat, the event is called Silvaco Day in Brazil. And the idea for this event, we're going to have 2 parts. One part will be more strategic oriented, where we invited SBMicro, SB Photon, Absemi, and MCTI to also discuss some problems, how to help the society to grow in the direction of a better IC design environment and ecosystem. So that's the first part of the event. Babak also will be one of the keynote speakers participating in the panel. And the second part will be to show news and updates in our tools. And also this year, we're gonna have 2 companies that will talk about the experience of using Silvaco tools in the day-by-day solution. So the first part, more strategic, the second part, a more hands-on area. We believe this event will be able to help local industries and universities to give one step ahead in strengthening this ecosystem.
Okay. Well, it's look like we have no more questions from our attendees. Okay. Well, I'm really very happy to be here with you, with Silvaco. And Dr. Babak, can you give us final words?
Yes, I wanted to thank you for inviting us to participate and be a partner. We would love to expand our capabilities and partnerships in Brazil. So please let us know if you need something, and we will work out whatever we can to help. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Dr. Izaias, final words?
Well, just to say thank you, SBMicro, thank you, Protásio, to help us here. Thank you, everybody that decided to join. And I think I myself am very proud to be part of Silvaco, of a company that even though is not Brazilian, but has a Brazilian heart and wants to grow the business in Brazil and invest in Brazil. I'm proud to be part of this legacy here.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So, the Brazilian Society of Microelectronics, thank you, Silvaco, to be our sponsor, and we'd like to maintain our link for a long time. Okay, thank you again, and thank you for you that are watching us, and I hope you to be here in our next events, the STMicro hubs. Okay, that as explained in the beginning, every SBMicro hub will have one of our sponsors to connect the company and our member, our student, our research, our scientific. Okay, so thank you very much, and thank you, Professor Rafael, to be in the technical part here, and bye-bye, everyone.